no communism in China.
Whoa, that's a heavy
There's
statement.
no communism in China. You guys live in a country where you like wrap yourself in the flag, in like patriotism and the eagle, and like when the aliens come, it's like America that saves the world, and we're like fighters or whatever. And then like you've kind of exited that democratic space, but still believe it to be democratic. That's the same thing in China. Like they're not communists anymore, but they still have the trappings of communism.
JJ Wakrat.
Yeah, maybe we could lower.
Hello.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
We good?
I think so.
All right. Well, then let's get it going.
Let's
Welcome to. Are you rolling? You're rolling. All right. Cool. Welcome to the Closed Door Behind You podcast with special guest JJ Wakrat. As always, I'm Doc Jud, and we have ChrisTos right next to me. Welcome, JJ.
Hi, thanks. It's great to be here. Like it's fun being in New York. I spend so much of my time in Asia, right? But like,
Tell us about the shirt. What's going on?
Okay, so we do roast battle in Japan.
Okay.
Years ago when I moved to Tokyo, I'd come from China where like.
Well, wait. Before you get into all that, we don't know who you are.
Oh, okay, my name is JJ. I am a comedian. I've been doing comedy for about 10, 12 years. I started in China. I helped find a comedy club there, the Shanghai Comedy Club. And then I moved to Japan like 7 years ago and helped start the Tokyo Comedy Bar. So I do the booking. I'm one of those assholes. And I run the comedy festival that we have and Tokyo Roast Battle. And now we've got comedians on tour. We're touring the U.S., the Monsters of Tokyo tour. So
you've lived in Asia for 17 years?
I moved in 2003.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
I moved on do you guys remember SARS?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's when
SARS
that's
on
when they started
Broadway?
wearing masks.
I moved the day after SARS started.
Really?
Wow.
I was already in motion. Like I'd already gone from like I'd shut my life down. I'd gotten everything ready. The plan was to move to Taiwan, teach a little bit of English, study for my LSATs, and I was spending a couple days visiting a friend in Whistler. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to a place that is like known for being like very dense, very polluted, very loud, like very Asia. You know, I'm gonna get some of that like Canadian.
Yeah, the Asians are known for being loud. They're
Well,
loud
just
people.
Taipei itself is a very loud place.
Yeah. That's why China wants to get rid of
Scooters, and I don't think they want to get rid of it. They want to own it. They want to wife it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's like if you're like you're like the hot girl at the bar, and there's a guy who's just like running through an entire scenario.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have kids with this girl. She's gonna be mine. Like that's like China.
Interesting.
And
So you were
and Taiwan.
studying in China or you were studying Whistler?
No, I was leaving Canada to go to Taiwan, teach English, and study my LSATs.
Got you.
And I was like hanging out in Whistler the day before. It was like Thursday. I was leaving on a Friday.
Yeah.
It's like wake up in the morning, Vancouver Sun or whatever. Mystery disease strikes Hong Kong, like
Right.
Taiwan, and I'm flying via Hong Kong. I've like shut down my life. I've like everything is like I've like rolled the dice on this. I'm like I guess there's no way to go but forward. So I go down to the Ace Hardware. Or whatever it is in Canada, the equivalent, and I bought like a big ass like 28 days later like gas mask.
Nice.
And not really related to the story, but that day I ran into another friend of mine from my hometown, and he was running tours of snowmobiles, right? Snowmobile tours. And he's like, yeah, just hop on, you just come up. I'm gonna take you up to the bowl. We're gonna do crazy. And like it was later in the season, so I'm on this big ass sled. I've never been on one before. He's like, don't go past your comfort zone, and then just like drives off. And I'm trying to catch up to him. And they'd like piled snow on the path like this. So it was like that on the outside. And like, so I'm like kind of like on the outside, and then the path like turns like this. And I don't even know that you're supposed to like pull all
Make
your
left.
weight down.
Oh.
And I just went fucking flying off the cliff.
Off a cliff,
Sick.
nice.
With this sled. It's like $20,000 sled. And it like lands like on an angle in like a route. And
And you couldn't get out.
well, yeah, they
They
like
found you in the summer.
he comes back and he's like, yeah, fucking JJ, Jesus Christ. He gets another friend of his. They like use carabiners and ropes and like the mechanical advantage of another snowmobile to
Right.
like, and then one guy jumped on it and they like launched it up and got it out.
Oh, I
But-
thought they were using the rope and stuff.
But the
for you.
repairs cost me like all the money I had because I didn't take insurance. Like,
Oh,
we
you
just-
had to pay for it?
Yeah, well, I didn't take insurance for this trip. It was like a free trip. Like he just took me up. So I was out like the money that I needed to go to. So I showed up in Asia and everything is shut down. Like Hong Kong airport's a ghost town. I finally make it to Taiwan. I've got like $200 in my pocket.
You're like Madonna in New York
Yeah,
City.
yeah.
back in
I'm like,
1980.
this is not how. And then we're like right in the middle. SARS hadn't really hit in Taiwan.
You can
yet.
only show up to a new town like with $200 if you have a vagina. How did you work that out?
I got a job teaching pretty quickly. I made it, stretched it out a little bit.
All right,
Like,
cool.
You know, when you're overseas, like it's a little bit different. So ChrisTos, you lived in Japan, right? And in Japan, it's a little bit different because the foreigners there all hate each other.
Yeah.
They hate the gaijin, and I'm one of them, are assholes. They're of all the like expats in Asia, the worst are in Japan, like by far. Like, and I mean that they're worse. They're worse than the pedophiles in Cambodia, right? They're all gatekeepers. They've either studied really hard and they think that like you integrating is like somehow taking away from them. Everyone wants to be like the one, right? And
The king gaijin.
and like I'm actually have a lot of I'm like cool with weebs. Like I think okay, you're into anime, that's fine. Like I'm not like very angry at it.
Right.
But like in Taiwan, in China, you get a little bit more of that like people helping people because you're kind of like in such an interesting you're so far away. You've all made that choice.
Right.
Right. When you run into someone here on the street, like you're nice to them because you're a nice guy. Right. Like everyone knows, like if you're pleasant, someone else is pleasant. There's no need to be an asshole to someone. But like that person is not connected with you in any way.
Right.
Whereas like if you meet another expat in Taiwan or like in China, like they have a story. They made a decision to like leave. Right. And that puts them kind of like in the same, like it gives you a little bit of commonality, like you've got a little bit more juice in that relationship. So like you can like borrow money, borrow money from people. You kind of create no I just mean like I've paid people's rents, they've paid mine, right? Like you don't have family around, so you kind of organize yourself into like an urban tribe in a way.
Well, I think the key difference, and maybe this is an oversimplification, but like you go to China to like make shit happen. If you're going to like live there as an expat versus like Japan, you go to run away from your problems somewhere else.
Okay, so I know I'm going to eat shit for this, but like I arrived in Japan and it was such a hard transition from China because in China, I had like multiple friends were running businesses. They were like entrepreneurs. They had restaurants. They had like people were there doing interesting things. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm opening this new factory for Volkswagen, or I'm working for an NGO. Like people, and then your Chinese friends are all like leveling up, opening up shit. There's stuff happening everywhere. Your synapses are going so quickly, and then you show up in Japan, and it's like the guy who ran the bar that the Stand Up Tokyo was at the time was like the only entrepreneur I knew. I knew another guy who had like a job in tech. Everyone else is like a teacher with just like an okay life. Yeah. They have a house in the suburbs. They've got like a pretty wife. Like their life is good, but like my brain had to slow down.
Wait,
it was like moving to the Midwest.
But I don't get it. What happened though? I mean, Japan back in the 80s and 90s, they were like our competitor with the United States. Like we were like, it seemed like that was the entrepreneurial society. Their business, their tech was going. Like what happened between
China
then
does
and
have
now?
China has a lot of mom and pop stuff.
No, I'm talking about Japan.
Yeah, sorry. Japan has a lot of mom and pop stuff, right? But Japan is also very like organized into like very, very big economic conglomerates. And it's not actually an easy place to be an entrepreneur.
Right. They actually discourage entrepreneurship.
Now contrast that to like mid 2000s China, that I went through two complete like sexual and industrial revolutions in like 10 years. Like we're talking about the entire world, like probably the most important thing that has been happening in history, for the last 100 years was happening right there. So like just everything was transforming all of the time. Everyone was going from poor to like, I'm going to get mine. And it was like a world of unlimited possibilities. Like just to give you an example of the scale, my first day that I showed up, so I was in Taiwan, 3.5 years go by. I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I should go learn Chinese. I'm going to go to Shanghai. I'm going to go to university. I had some friends who'd moved from Taiwan to China. And so like the first day I stayed at a friend's place, was funny because we we went to like the Chinese equivalent of like an American buffet,
Nice.
and it was like super like it was like not you know what I mean? It was like peas on pizza and like it was like that. It was like the reverse of
And
what
it was
like a
clean.
Chinese person has to go through when they go to a buffet here. And then the next day I wake up, I pick up the Shanghai Daily, and they're like 3 new subway lines opened.
Wow.
Details on page 27. Like meaning like they'd opened 170 stations that day, and it wasn't front page news.
Wow.
That's the level that they're dealing with. When I was there, they opened up the world's largest deep water port, which was like 15 miles off the coast. They had to build a causeway out to it. The world's longest sea bridge. Like they just, I remember once we were hanging out, like just hanging out, like smoking joints, like hanging out in like a park. There was like a festival that day, like a chili cook-off or some shit. And I remember seeing like like a construction fence, right? It's a construction fence, and it's like clearly like a pit into something. We're like in Zhongshan Park. Like, where's this pit going to? What's the construction around? Right? It would be like a pit in a park here. You're like, what are they building? There's nowhere you can build. Everything is built out.
But help us understand: is this government mediated or is this private?
I'm just saying, like that's
because none of our viewers, like we don't know what the hell is going on in China. We're from
right. So the
United
government,
States.
the
We
government
get
is building
all this information blocked from us.
the government is building stuff on a very large infrastructure level. So like they built like the world's biggest high-speed rail network. They put a lot of money into bridges and into roads, right? That's how they spent their way out of like the 2008 crisis, is that they did infrastructure spending. There are large companies and there are ways that the government can work with those companies. Some of them are state-owned to like create companies that will then go on and be massive, right? It could be a 10 or 20 year investment, like where they're doing planes or Huawei.
But it's
like,
not full-on communist. Like you can actually be an entrepreneur.
no
there.
communism in China.
Whoa, that's a heavy
There's
statement.
no communism in China. I do have a background in political science, so let me just explain this one. But first, I just want to say that construction fence turned out to be an access point to a big dig. You guys remember the big dig in Washington? Yeah, imagine a big dig where they were doing an 18-lane highway that was over 100 miles long.
Holy shit.
And no one had heard of it. That's what I'm saying is like the scale of what was happening was so big and so transformative that you could be doing what would be the largest infrastructure project in the United States.
And people would be like,
I don't know. Like we just randomly came on a wall. And then we had to like ask around. And like at 10 or 15 friends, we were like, we finally figured it out. That it was like some underground highway that they were building that no one had even heard of.
Right. And
But
the
yeah.
Chinese don't really need to ask permission, right?
They don't know, but it's not just
That's
that
why
stuff.
they cut in line all the time.
Yeah, well, when I got there in 2008, the cutting in line thing was crazy.
Yeah.
And then they mostly got rid of that.
Okay.
It took a little while. They do these big like transformations. Like right now, everyone is this, and then the next day, like we're changing that. So there's like an unlimited possibility for entrepreneurs, right? Like you're like people were starting businesses, people were doing the online stuff, you know what I mean? TikTok was there earlier. So there's a lot of like innovation that's happening. So everyone is not everyone's making money, but there's so much money being made. When I was working, I had a co-teacher, right? They do it in Japan too. I think they call them alts. And that he was making like maybe $400 a month. Guy's like 9 houses now and like 4 businesses. Just like that. And everyone does because everyone in Shanghai, they inherit property. So like when the communists came, they took everything and they redistributed it and they made sure everyone had a house. But then when like capitalism came, we're having redevelopment projects now. So what they'll do is they'll go into like a development, kind of like the way we have projects here, like it's like building. It's not necessarily a project, but it's like a compound. Like Shanghai's got a lot of compounds. And they'll be like, all right, we're moving this compound out to Brooklyn or whatever, right? And they'll go around and they'll get consent from everyone. They'll be like, okay, what's it going to take? What's it going to take? Some people, they don't want to lose their community, so they become like a security guard at the new community. But essentially, like you grew up in a room this size, that turns into a 2 or a 3 bedroom apartment in the suburbs in a building with an elevator. But now Shanghai is building, they built 500 subway stations. That's going to be connected to the grid. And all of a sudden that unit is now in a nice part of Shanghai in a country where like if you're making money out in a shittier province, if you're in Shanxi or you're in wherever, like you're going to send your kid to school in New York. You're going to send your kid to school in Shanghai. So you're going to buy them an apartment there. So now all of a sudden you have a piece of real estate that's worth $1 million to $2 million. And you got one from your mom's side and like one from your dad's side because you're an only child, right? Like the family, right? And then your partner is also Shanghainese, so they inherited 2 apartments. You've done nothing, and you have $5 or $10 million in real estate. Is that communism? Like that's just they were just making fucking everybody rich. Like it's crazy. Now there's a lot of disparity in China, and there's a lot of the country that don't have these kinds of advantages.
Yeah.
But where I was, it was insane. Like you couldn't, just absolute madness. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is a valid point, right? Like over here, we can't understand wealth distribution, right? Like it's just like impossible.
No. So what happened is they had a communist country, and then they made changes, and they just kept the name communism. But they're not actually communism.
What changes did they physically make?
Just to give you an example, right? You guys live in a country where you like wrap yourself in the flag, in like patriotism and the eagle, and like when the aliens come, it's like America that saves the world, and we're like fighters or whatever. And then like you've kind of exited that democratic space, but still believe it to be democratic. That's the same thing in China. Like they're not communists anymore, but they still have the trappings of communism, right? Even if like they've moved past that. Right?
So when did they move past it? Like explain where they made the transition from going from communist to saying like we're going to make a more free capitalist society.
I mean, free might necessarily be the wrong word, because in America, capital is free. Capital itself makes the decisions. In China, capital is still subordinate to the state.
Right.
So like Elon Musk in China would be in jail. Right? Like he says one thing that's too snippy, he gets his contract.
Yeah, like
pulled.
Jack Ma. We used
exactly.
to never.
He's a professor.
He's a professor
in he's like the richest guy in the world. He's like a professor in Tokyo now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those people. They get their wings clipped. Like they are like Chinese people look at America and go, how do you let business control everything? Like you guys like we did communism and it failed, right? But communism is the reaction to this was what was predicted. You know what I mean? Like so they will they subordinate. Yeah, like at a certain level, like the billionaires don't control things.
Right.
How are
The
you
billionaires are still like under a very short.
How were you
leadership.
allowed to stay for so long? I mean, did you have to leave every 3 months?
So, China at the time, they honestly didn't really care. Like you could get picked up for drugs, and they would just they put you in jail, and they'd let you out the next day. They don't care. They didn't really care what the foreigners were doing. But funny story.
Were you running drugs in China?
No. I just mean like.
Are you talking about a real story that happened?
No, yeah. I mean, I knew
smoking
people.
joints in the park.
No, people would disappear for 3 days, and then we'd be like, we don't know what happens to them. And then they'd be out, and they'd be like, what happened to them? Like, I was in jail. Like, there's no problem, right? Like, we're talking about a place where cops didn't have guns back then. Like the one time I got arrested, I just walked to the police station with the cops. But back up a little bit, the visa thing. I used to get my visa at McDonald's from a guy called Magic.
That's awesome.
So all right,
Chinese guy called Magic?
Yeah, he was famous amongst the expats in Shanghai
because he'd hang out at McDonald's.
No, so what you would do is you would get like you'd want like a business visa, and so he would like go get you a business visa, but he would get it from a different province. So we're talking about a country that is so big that it has very little national administration, right? So like our concept in America, you have the feds, right? America is designed to be a country of states. Right, but every government always wants more power for itself. So the federal government uses like the power of interstate commerce and everything that it has to kind of like tell everyone what to do everywhere.
Right.
And then if you believe, let's say you believe in abortion, when it's your turn to run the federal government, you're going to try and impose that on every state. And, but like what happens in China is that it's such a big country. Most governance is very local. So you have some places where everyone is rich, because the local managers invested in a factory when China first opened up 30 years ago. And like every peasant in that town is minted. And then you have other places where they're like terrible administrators. And then you might even have someone like leave from the town, go to Beijing to try and like complain, to like let the emperor know what's being done in his name. And that town will send thugs like to Beijing to like find those people so that they can't like report on like it's like that kind of a country. There's a lot of boss hoggery that happens in China, right?
And they have different regional languages too, right?
Tons.
Yeah.
In fact, they try and convince you that it's all Chinese, but like it's like It's like saying that like French and French and Spanish and Italian are the same languages. They use the same script, but they're
Well,
very
French
different.
people will claim that they can understand people speaking Spanish and Italian.
It's sort of. I can. Italian.
So it's
sort
not
of
just
easy.
Mandarin and Cantonese.
No. In fact, Cantonese is sort of on the Mandarin's on the up and Cantonese is on the down. Like
Cantonese is over
if you're
in the south
if you're in
and
like
the- and Taiwan.
Toronto or like San Francisco or like New York, like you
Cantonese.
might believe that Cantonese is Chinese
Right.
because that was where everyone was leaving China from.
Right.
So that's the diaspora language, and they were like a net exporter of food, of culture, of kung fu movies, and they've just been absolutely blown out of in the last 20 years by Mandarin.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Is Mandarin better? Why is Mandarin winning? Cao Ni Ma?
But from everything that you're telling me, it sounds like China has a lot more benefits than the Japanese society. From what you're telling me, it sounds like Japan's very restricted. There's no entrepreneurs. It's very difficult. People want to throw
I
you
have
under the
kids
bus
now.
all the time. Like it sounds like China is.
as a
cooler
young man,
from everything you just
China was
described.
way fucking good.
Oh, so, I'm sorry. So you're married with kids in Japan? Is that what you're trying to
like
say?
I got married in China, but like
So if your wife wasn't here, you'd actually say China was better.
no, I said as a young man, China was was incredible because it
Okay.
was just like unlimited possibility. You woke up in the morning and you like never knew what crazy shit was going to be happening. Like I've been paid money to pretend to be like an executive of a
Pillsbury
country.
Doughboy?
Oh,
Oh.
Like an executive of a company.
What?
I've done the craziest stuff.
they
in
hired
my
you
life
to
there.
sound like you were the
Yeah,
leader
like
of a
okay, so I'll
country.
give you an example. You're a relocation company. You want to do business with like IBM. They're moving like 30 or 40 people over, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go in and you're dealing with a Chinese executive. You don't understand him. You don't know whether to believe him or not, right?
Right.
But if there's just like a white dude sitting in that chair, all of a sudden I can like relate. So I had a friend, this guy, he owned an animation company. He was doing a deal with DreamWorks.
Yeah.
And he hired me and 4 friends to just sit in the office.
Oh,
Get
that's
outta here.
awesome.
Yeah, while they showed up. And he's like, they're going to ask you some questions. Just say I'm a great boss to work for. Right. This guy, he came out to New York like after Tiananmen or whatever. He moved back. He owned an animation studio. Great dude.
Yeah.
And like we're going out for dinner, and he's just like, JJ, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure half of these guys are going to be Jews. Okay. So if
Wear
they ask
your
you
yarmulke.
questions, just you know what I mean, like that kind of. So you just give us like an envelope of cash after, because
Wow.
we just pretended to work for his company because he wasn't dumb. Like he knows it's such an interesting foreign place. He's like, just having you around is going to give them the confidence, right?
Yeah, it's
'Cause
true.
they're
Chinese
gonna see a
businesses.
boss. They're gonna see a boss that has like respect, like has like subordinates that are foreigners that respect him.
Yeah.
He goes, that's gonna grease the wheels. And I was like, it's so true.
I saw something on Vice News once about a guy that was going around and they had him like pose as a doctor for the day at some huge medical conference, and he just sat like on a dais and he was like labeled as a urologist, but he didn't have like one day of training in his life.
Oh, so I shouldn't have shown that guy my penis?
All right, guys, enough talk about dicks. I think it's time. It's time for the lightning round.
All right.
So here on the Closed Door Behind You podcast, we have something called the lightning round.
Oh,
where
wait,
we ask the
which
same
is
questions.
sponsored by...
We also have a sponsor. Sponsor is Izakaya Brotaku. Can you explain to the viewers what an izakaya is?
So an izakaya is like a pub, but essentially it's a Japanese restaurant that has like a lot of snacks, and you drink there. So it's like, it is a bar, it is a restaurant. It's kind of like both. It's like a low key restaurant.
So we've got one here. It's
Yeah.
called Izakaya Brotaku. It's down the street.
Yeah.
It's in the Lower East Side on Ludlow Street, and they sponsor our podcast. So if you're ever in New York City, come and have some shake fries and some karage and some sake. It's sake, not sake. Okay, guys, get with it. Anyway, starting the lightning round.
loves
First
that
question is, let's see. So if you could invite anybody, JJ, if you could invite anybody to dinner, live or dead, who would that person be?
Alive or dead?
Mm-hmm. Anybody from the past, like somebody that you wish you could have been friends with, you could just sit down and kind of have like a conversation.
Ben
and shoot the
Franklin.
shit. Ben
Ben Franklin.
Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
How
Why?
come?
Okay, all right. So most like I'm an AP history teacher, by the way. But people sleeping on Ben. I remember a couple years ago, fucking Joe's got Elon on his podcast, and they're like, "Oh, there's never been anyone as as inventive and as." He's on the $100 bill. The amount of shit that Ben Franklin has done. First of all, he gave birth to an entire country. But most people don't realize that his son, because Ben Franklin was so famous, his son was the governor of like one of the U.S. states, like British appointed. and he went with the British. Like he was on the other side. Like he actually like
way.
lost his son to the revolution.
Holy
They only
cow.
met once, like later when he was like traveling well after the United States had become a country, right? Like he birthed it in his brain, like more than anybody. The guy, I believe he started the first public library. He invented the catheter, right? Which is a crazy one.
You love that.
Flippers, bifocals, that whole thing with the lightning. He didn't do it. He just wrote the experiment down. He created a musical instrument with like glass like tubes or whatever. And like one of his contemporaries, I don't know, it was like Beethoven or like one of them like wrote a whole symphony for him. Most people don't realize that when what is now the colonies declared independence, not a revolution, war of independence. I'll fight you on that one, because it was basically British people arguing for British rights. Like it wasn't like a revolution. It was it wasn't a change. It was anyway. Does that?
They were
that's not
like,
important.
stop taxing us.
Yeah,
like this,
well, it wasn't. It's not that simple. The point is that it was like a revolution is a total change, and all it really was a war of independence, right? And it was really it wasn't like Americans versus. It was like
So what would you
these
ask
English
him?
people.
So if you were sitting in a at a table with him, like what would you want to talk to him about?
I don't know. I just want to hang out. Like I don't have any specific questions for him, but I just think he's just like, all right. The thing that gets me the most, I read this one example. When the U.S. declared independence, the British had the scariest army in the world. They had the scariest navy in the world. Nobody gave the colonists any chance. They didn't understand that like they
Their
could
Kashi
shoot better.
was
They
bad.
didn't. There was all these things they didn't understand, but nobody gave them any chance. But everyone was actually terrified of Ben Franklin. They thought he was a wizard. He was the most esteemed, like of all the people in what is now America, like in Europe, everyone loved Ben Franklin. Like Ben Franklin was like the fucking G.
He was like Gandalf.
He was fucking Gandalf. I'm not fucking kidding.
Now he was
And,
the
like,
one
he's
that
on the
went to
$100
France and
bill.
got France to fight for us, though. Correct or no?
Yeah. He did all of that.
Because
Like,
they were like, the
No, he
wizard
was-
wants
he
a
was-
hemp.
He was so smart. He was so pervasive. Like he even started the he sent the guy who started my local newspaper in Montreal. The Montreal Gazette was started as like a Revolutionary War rag. They wanted to get the French on side, right? Because they were like, well, you don't like the English either. But the French were like smart enough to know that like they're like, okay, there's English speakers. These guys are a little bit crazier. We'll just go with the British. It was actually a savvy move at the time. That's not important. My point is, he was just such a fucking G, like such a G, so eloquent, so smart, scientific, like a total Renaissance man.
Right.
And I don't think he gets enough credit. People know, they're like, oh, Ben Franklin, but he's just like the dude in the wig.
Right.
Like, they don't realize he's the fucking badass, like a total badass.
Plus,
Yeah.
he's probably going to be the only person on currency in the future with the rate of inflation, right? The $100 bill will be the lowest bill that we have.
Now, in terms of living people that get slept on, right? This one is a crazy one.
Is it one you would sleep with?
James Blunt.
So, yes.
You're beautiful. You know James Blunt, like he's a singer or whatever?
No.
Yeah. That's a weird. Honestly, I did not expect
All right,
that
all right.
choice.
James Blunt. You
Is he
can look this up.
Canadian?
You guys can look this up. No, he's British.
Same.
James Blunt, literally, this actually happened, saved the world from World War III.
How?
Okay, so he's from an acting family. Somehow he went to Sandhurst. So he went to like the British Military Academy, and he was an infantry captain. I don't know, guys, if you remember like Kosovo, like you remember there was shit
Yeah, of
going on in the
course.
Balkans, right? So at the time, he was a captain, I think. So he might have been, yeah. So he was like at the head of an armed infantry column. So like the soldiers that like have like armored personnel carriers or whatever, right? And the mission itself was under command of NATO. So it was under the command of like Wesley Clark, I think, at the time.
Okay.
And I don't know if you realize this, but the Serbs are like traditional Russian allies. They're Slavs, right?
Okay.
And and they were like, there was what was happening with the Croats, and so essentially we intervened on the side of the people that were getting slaughtered, right? But from the Russian perspective, this was just an assault on their allies, right? And they were extremely pissed off. So at some point, they send a squad of Spetsnaz soldiers to go to the Pristina Air Force Base and like take it over. So to deny like NATO the opportunity to like land there, right?
Okay.
And
And the airport was pumping the music of "You're Beautiful."
not yet.
Oh.
He wrote that song during the campaign. It's actually an anti-war song. But just so they send in like Russians are here, right? And then there's like a NATO unit, and the closest NATO unit, thankfully, were British and not American. And it was James Blunt's fucking unit. And he got one of those, okay, move on the airport. And he was like, excuse fucking me? And they're like, you heard your orders. And he was like, no. And what he did is that he then contacted the higher British person within his own chain of command. And that guy was like, you are not starting World War III for these fucking psycho Yanks.
Yeah.
Stay where you are. And he just didn't move. And he did it knowing full well that he could be court-martialed and knowing full well that he could be thrown in jail, right? But he was just like, no, this is just stupid.
Yeah.
And then that guy that told them to stay put shows up, grabs a bottle of fucking liquor, and walks over to the Russians and just goes and gets drunk with them.
That's the way you do it, dude.
And he's like, they're not going anywhere. We control the airspace. There was no reason to go full G.I. Joe on them. But like, you have to think this guy has like a massive Twitter following. He has like something like 4 or 5 of the top 20 songs in British history, which is crazy, right? You know what I mean? He's also like an actor. Yeah. He also wrote like this like top 5 album.
And his last name's Blount. And I love Blount.
It was Blount actually. It was Captain James Blount. He changed it. My point is that there's just like people that are just better at everything. It's weird that it's James Blount, but like
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna parlay into another question. What do you got there, ChrisTos?
What is one life hack that you have that you think more people should know about?
Fuck. I mean, I'm just thinking in terms of like what's available at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
But I would say never get picked up at arrivals. Always go up to the departure level.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Every airport.
If someone's coming to pick you up, go to departure.
Interesting. That's good because it's less crowded.
Less crowded. Yeah.
But then some of the airports, it's a fucking mission that you gotta go.
That is
like
good advice.
Yeah, change the floors.
All right, I got a question for you. You need any medical advice?
No.
You sure about that?
I'm sure I need.
He's like looking at me. He's like, I'm good, dude.
I'm sure I need a ton, but
right.
my doctors are Asian.
Oh, that's true. So they're like, what do they say to you?
Do they speak English?
Yeah, they could speak English.
In Japan?
Yeah.
Man, I was in Japan.
It's funny. The last 2 doctors that I've had specialists, they've all been like, "So what do you do?" I'm like, "I work at the Tokyo Comedy Bar," and they're like, "Oh, damn!" And they like pull out a phone, and they're like, it's like BJ or like Uriah or something, and they'll just like pull up their video. They've got it. They're like, "Oh yeah, me and my friends, we like Shota or whatever." It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
it's
funny.
happened a lot. Yeah.
The Japanese stand-up.
The Japanese stand-up. But one of them, my current doctor, he was surprised to hear that there was English. Like it's like most of our shows are in English, right? But the Japanese side's really taken off.
So at home, do you speak Japanese or do you speak?
No, well, my wife speaks really good, and then my kids can speak English, Japanese, and Mandarin. Yeah.
Got it. What do you speak? All 3 of those
I can
languages?
speak better Mandarin than Japanese. That's for sure.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, I've heard him on the phone, and he's just like, and I'm like, Jesus.
I think it's easier than Japanese. I
Why?
think Japanese is harder. Just the 3 different scripts, like
The reading of the languages?
oh yeah, like okay. For those of you who don't know, they have one complete alphabet just for things that came
English.
from outside of Japan.
Yeah.
So imagine you have like an A and it's the ah sound, and then you have foreign A and it's the same sound. It's just to let you know this is from abroad. So like one of my kids has a Japanese name and she has like regular Japanese characters, and the other one he's got like a Romanized like a name that's like translated from English or whatever, and he has to use like a different script. It's crazy. So like tire would be written with one script, but then something Japanese like mochi would be written with another. And it's like, what even is that?
Yeah, but
it's too much.
I mean, I understand. Like, I know a lot of people who study Japanese and gave up on the like reading and writing part, but like the speaking. So, do you think that the speaking is easier than Chinese, or?
I don't think so, because
Really?
I studied it for a year and I can't speak it.
But everyone's like the tonal thing about
You have to
Chinese.
love it. Tones is.
How do you
yes.
love the tones? They're so grating.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't that hard to learn them.
Okay, how do you say, do you need any medical advice?
I don't know.
Oh.
I maybe like Niao Kambing, like do you want to go see the doctor?
Yeah, Kambing.
Kambing. Bing is
Kambing.
sick, kind of see. So Kambing is just like see about your sickness. Like this, it's kind of like a lot more logical. Like you know.
So are
like,
there a lot of people in Japan that you could speak English to, or is it
Yeah.
a limited amount of people? Really?
But again, like the percentage of Japanese people that can speak English has to be lower than most Asian countries. I would
Right.
say,
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's not like they're 120 million people, which means they don't like if you're in Taiwan, you probably still need to read, and you want to be a doctor, like you're gonna have to read like the latest medical texts in English. Right, because they're coming in English, right? Like you're a pilot, you're a doc, like you have to be able to access this stuff in English, or else you're gonna be behind, right? It's not necessarily true in Japan because it's big enough that they have their own like ecosystem, right?
Gotcha.
It is a very large, like you know, you got 120 million people. That's an entire civilization, right?
Okay,
So-
what is like one opinion that you have that you'll die on that hill, regardless of subject, and like it's maybe contrarian?
Birthdays are for kids.
Okay, why?
What the fuck? Like we're adults.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's unseemly to put. Ooh, I made it one more year. What? I deserve cake and a fucking.
Sounds like people don't plan birthday parties for you.
No, I
which
think
is
they
what you're
don't.
upset
They
about.
don't plan birthday parties for me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's why you hate it.
No, because I've worked really hard to get them to stop.
Really?
I think birthdays are terrible. Like I think it's not that they're terrible. They're great. It's like one of those things. It's like trick or treating. It's great if you're a kid.
Okay, I got a question for you. If you died and you could come back and haunt one person, who would you haunt?
Oh, Christos.
God damn it! I knew it.
Because it'd be so much fun.
What would you do for him? Like, would
jumpy,
you
you
would you
know?
rattle the wall? Would you like play with like his pet anime little cartoon figures and like what would you do to
Call
like?
him
act-
pet
What
anime
I would do
cartoon
is I would
figures?
tell him to like lean even harder into the Japan thing. You know?
Really?
Yeah, I'd be like, it just works so well for you. You know,
Are you being sarcastic?
maybe.
I feel Japanese, dude. I'm the only one keeping the population
No, yeah,
alive.
no. His Japanese is better than mine. He was a salaryman. I never was. I got off the plane. I went to like a couple interviews in Japan, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna work in Japan for Japanese people. I just got more jobs online with like Chinese, like in China.
Yeah.
The pay was better. It's not that so in Japan there's like this is how we do it, right? And it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not, right? Whereas in China you can like make deals, right? You'd be like, I don't do that. They're like, you have to do that. You're like, do I though? I'm bringing in money for the company, and they're like, you're right. Let's make an exception. Like there's people are able to like make deal. You know what you mean, to make deals. I worked at one job. My friend got me a job, Japan College of Foreign Languages. On paper, the greatest English teaching gig of all time. 2 entire classes full of future flight attendants. All 19. Every day they show up, they get inspected on their looks.
By
Get outta
you?
here.
No, by like their teachers. So they're all wearing like office lady garb, hair perfect, like just like an entire class full of like bibs, like just
Bibs.
perfectly put together. And it was the worst experience that I'd ever
What?
had teaching. It
What are
was
you,
the
gay?
Well, first of all, I had just come from China where students were motivated,
Okay.
right?
Right.
These were like, oh, I can't believe I had to be in class. But secondly, it was one of those things where it was like the rules were like, as a teacher, you're not allowed to have hot drinks on your desk. And like the owner would go around and like look. I just felt like, I was like, what?
That's like the
It
ER
was
I worked
all,
at.
it was all like
Too many rules?
style over substance, right?
Made
like
no
it
sense.
was, yeah, it was just like, it was like infuriating working there.
How do I
Gotcha.
get the job as the inspector?
They made me fax my fucking timesheets in.
Yeah, they love faxing still in Japan.
Yeah.
The fax is still a
So
thing.
I just kept working for the companies I worked for in China. I just did remotely before COVID. Yeah, and
And
the
you
pay
didn't
was
keep
better.
working for companies back like in North America?
I mean, I left in 2003.
They didn't have computers then.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I got my first mobile phone in Asia. You know, like,
Wow. What was it? Huawei?
it was like, I don't know,
The
it was like
Singchong?
Motorola or something.
All right, we got time for one more question, JJ.
Okay, well, here. I'll do that one. What have you learned being a parent?
It's exhausting. Everyone knows that. I would say the biggest advice that you can give someone who's about to have a kid is do not let your pregnant wife drive the purchases. Okay? Because she's got a friend who got $1,000 stroller. She thinks she needs $1,000 stroller.
Right.
She, the pregnant lady gets what the pregnant lady wants, right? And they don't need any of it. Everything is on. It's Facebook Marketplace. Everything. You're only going to use it for a couple months. Okay. You can get a fresh pump. Everything else should be secondhand.
I want a secondhand pump.
Everything else should be secondhand.
Penis pump or a boob pump?
Oh, come on, dude. You should have your own penis pump already.
You're not having sex at that time of year. Yeah, that time of life.
You need a penis pump for sure.
The next thing I would say is that when you have kids, don't allow yourself to live completely for your kids. I don't mean don't ignore, just don't be the kind of parent whose entire life is taking care of your kids, because then they won't have anything to look up to. They won't have any. They won't. You're not modeling a life that they can emulate, right?
You're not inspiring them.
Yeah, think about the mom who's a stay-at-home mom, and then it's 14, and she's so pissed off at the kid because he's not following. I did everything for you. Now you're you've decided you like painting more than ballet or whatever. They should. Your kids. You're not just gonna see you going out fighting for spots and trying to build a career and trying to get. They need to see that. Right. So I would say don't be the kind of parent that is everything is about the kid, because that's too much pressure on the kid, and it's not. You don't want. They're gonna grow up with nothing to look for.
Leave them in Japan and go and tour the country with stand-up comedy.
Also swimming lessons.
Swimming lessons.
All right. So JJ, last thing. Where can people find you on social media, etc.?
At JJ Wakrat. At JJ Wakrat, so JJWAKRAT. I'm also active at our Roast Battle Tokyo. We're on Netflix as a joke. May 5th.
Nice.
We're doing Tokyo versus LA. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Nice. At the Comedy Store. And if you come to Tokyo, you can find me a couple of nights a week at the Tokyo Comedy Bar.
Love it. Thank you so much for being our guest, JJ. We'll see you next time, brother.
Cheers, man.
Take
you.
care.